originally bought this stylus. It's just made out of plastic. I thought it was an eBay seller, and come to find out they were a drop shipper, not one of my favorites, from Amazon. Anyways, they came with the selection of all metal tips, and they had O-rings where you could move them in and out. The problem I was having is that just the pull alone was pulling them out, so I had to choose which ends I wanted to glue into it. So I chose the single end, which is also curved, as you can see. Makes it nice so when you're doing it for you viewers, you can see better. And I chose the one that I use for 2 or 3 drills on this one. The second stylus is just a cheap plastic prefab stylus that you get with many of the kits. And this one has the sponge right there. And then I took the same metal ends from the pink stylus, and I glued them. Yeah, I had to glue these ones in as well because they kept pulling out. And I chose the largest, which is this one, and then the next to the largest to do large areas. So that's my stylist at this time. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get started on this rectangular section, which is video 11 again. And this is the section we're working on today. And let's get this dialed in, because I like showing the work and the progress each time. Each time on a video, I have to dial it in to get you guys as close as possible. And as always, we're going to start with the number 4, which is in the upper right hand corner. And I know I sound like a broken record for any of my regular viewers, but do please subscribe. It's 100% free, no cost to you. It really helps the channel. Hit the thumbs up. Do the bell notification only if you want to be notified when I release a new video, which I know I usually release 3 a day. Sorry about that. Sometimes I slip, you know, life gets busy. And leave a comment, questions, suggestions, ideals, where you're located at, how you've been. As long as they're 7 words or more, the algorithm will feel that we're doing the proper job of engaging our audience. And I appreciate any questions, and I'm willing to answer them. Yeah, you can see where it's bent, and it makes it so you can see better without my hand in the way. Too bad they didn't do that with all of them, like bend them to the side or something. So, my surgery, well, it'll be 3 total, but my second surgery to correct this, my third surgery to correct the second surgery, which was supposed to replace the joint, is coming up. And I went and seen a hand specialist on bones. So your thumb joint goes way down in your hand, almost right here by the wrist. I have crippling arthritis in both hands. And to help make it so I can use my thumb semi-normally, yeah, it's kind of frozen in that joint way down at the bottom. I will be having surgery after my knee to replace the joint that it sits in, because I have no cartilage there anymore. And again, my thumb joint is frozen in place. And So I'll be having surgery on that as well. I did not treat my body well. I was a very much of a labor worker, and unfortunately it really affected the cartilage in my body, especially in joints that I used often. Okay, we're going to do the letter O. And so hopefully I will have videos done in advance when I do that, so that way I can post them. I guess that will be a goal I'll have while I'm recovering from the knee surgery. And I'm hoping this knee surgery will help correct the problems I'm having. Nothing like having metal in your body that keeps shifting on the bone. It's quite horrendous. I cannot say I'm enjoying it at all. And because I don't want to continue to suck down Tylenol and ibuprofen, because, by the way, I have spotting in my liver. And although it's not considered dangerous, all medications such as Tylenol and ibuprofen is ran through your liver, and I don't want to destroy my liver that way. So I live in a constant state of pain, and my knee always feels like it's on fire. Yeah, that would be interesting if the stylists were made so they were tilted, so people who do videos can not only make it easier for you guys to see, but keeps our hands semi out of the way. There's an ideal, whoever invents them and makes them, make them so that they bend in this area like this does, and makes it so our hands aren't in the way so much. And I hope everyone is doing as well as can be expected. I know that how I feel is a constant reminder how others may feel. And I'm just trying to have surgeries that will at least give me back quite a bit of my mobility, even if it's on a limited energy level. At least I'm not stuck sitting, because the problem with the shifting metal is even if you stand up straight, your body will constantly do micro shifting. That's how we keep our balance. And it makes that knee just swell something fierce. It's quite painful. And then the knee doesn't want to bend at all, which then makes sitting down a complicated feat. So it definitely is a challenge in my life. So and I would have different, even more stylish handles if they weren't so darn expensive. I can't believe how much people charge for these styluses. And the only reason why I got this pink one that are multicolor so cheap, I think I got it for less than 20 bucks, is because it came from China. But then again, with the tariffs that are planned, anything coming from there is going to exponentially be way more expensive. So I guess you have to make do with what there is. Now we're going to do the letter R. Yeah, and that's even for plastic, and that's absolutely insane. No one can tell me that the overhead for that is that high. To make smelly plastic pieces. I think I'm going to do the large stylus. I see quite a lot of opportunities here for that. Now, the viewer that had the question, I am quite sure that I replied to it both on the site, and I wanted to respond verbally, because sometimes when you're writing things out, there's a lack of miscommunication. And by doing it both ways, it also let everyone else know. So the tips of my stylus are not the kind that is sent, that is part of the kits when you get them. They were something that I wanted that was separate. Now I do have a few others, like one with the wax and it ejects down into it. It came with a bulk buy that I had done, and I haven't tried it yet, mostly because on these cheaper kits, the adhesive is not that good on the canvas, and you have to push down quite hard to get the them to stick onto the canvas part adhesive, and that shoves the wax out of the way. Now when I go to do the square diamond tip, I think I'm going to try using one just to see how it responds. And because it is wax, and because supposedly the expensive diamond dot kits, and like I said, I think I got like 1 or 2 of them, are supposed to be better made. I know the prices of them are quite high. And the funny thing is just because you pay more for something doesn't mean that it's worth more. It doesn't mean that the manufacturer uses better quality products on them or anything. So that will be an interesting observation that I'm going to make. I've never used the square diamond and the expensive diamond dot kits. I do know that the adhesive on these cheaper kits are not that great. And so you'll have a lot more problems with them. And I veered away from the wax because of the constant having to reload the stylus tips. And with the self-feeding wax, that will be interesting as well. That will be another observation to make. All right. Just doing the R's and doing the outside of the gnome, and this is his beard, part of his beard coming down. I don't really study gnome history or ideals, so I know nothing about them. So I have no idea why they have such big mustaches and really long beards. If you know anything about gnome fort lore or in history or anything about them, and you want to put a comment about them, that would be great. Go right ahead. Because as I said, I know nothing about it. I'm a little bit more into fairies and that type of thing, but even then I don't really study it. To each their own. Usually my big joke is, if it isn't making me money, I'm probably not doing it. Because most of my life revolves around making money, because I never seem to make enough to really live comfortably. It's usually always a struggle. So I do not do things that are considered like hobbies or relaxing. I don't take vacations. Vacations cost money. I never have enough money to take a vacation. So, as I said, most of my life is centered around things that make money, or I try to make money. If you're interested in self-starting things, you really should do some research. I missed an O right there and 2 right there. I know I just done them. Don't see any more R's. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and grab O and finish those couple up that I see. Yeah, you see they're not sticking so well. And as I said, it's a real challenge on these. All right, so now we're going to, I see another O right there. I think it's because I didn't trade up my glasses. Wow, look at that. I missed some up here. All right. I think that's why sometimes I get really quiet. When I talk, I almost wonder if I miss more, which is common because if you're distracted, you're more apt to miss things. All right, now it's going to be number 5. So I am right-handed. So when I had the surgery on my right hand first, I may try doing this with my left. If I cannot really do it with my left, I'm not even going to bother. But hey, you never know. Many people will work with their left if need be. And you can switch in life if necessary. But my preferred method would be to do a lot of videos in advance and have them ready for uploading every day. So sometimes if you do ask me a question and I answer both written and verbal on a segment, you would have to watch different videos that are released to also get the answer in verbal form. Yep, there's one that does. You know what? I almost suspect that a piece of cellophane might be on that one. Sometimes that happens when I'm trying to cut it and peel. Yep. See, it did not cut and it did not peel a strip piece of it, and it's in the way. Bear with me, everyone. There we go. Because they don't use high quality cellophane, it's also hard to see if you get it all off. because it's so thin, very paper thin, very, very thin. Okay, number 5. There's one. Okay. I'm not seeing any more. All right. Now we're going to go to the letter N. N. All right. Doing some groupings. I see some very large groupings. And of course there's the smaller groupings. Unload. Okay, I'm going to do some, first I got to shake this tray out. And then I got some really big groupings going on. Okay, I think that -1 for that one. Okay. Okay. See a few more groupings going on. Okay. Then I'll start working on some of the singular here soon. Just glancing for groupings. All right. Now we got just a couple down here. Get that out of the way. There's a group. Okay. See another grouping. many, many of these ends. Okay. Just looking for some more. Okay. Okay, see another right here. Just glancing back through to see if I see any more ends. Looks like that's about it. Okay, that deserves a drink of coffee there. And then we're going to work on number 2. Okay. And sometimes on the cluster, if there's not very many, I have a tendency to break it up and just use my smaller stylus. Takes much longer to keep, what's the right word? To keep switching back and forth. So sometimes it's just more just makes better sense to break up the size of the row. That's enough silk. He's an oldie. As many of you might know, I have a 12-year-old cat, not 12, sorry, 18-year-old. Yes, he's 18. And that's just him talking. He can be quite loud and vocal. About 3, maybe 4 years ago, he was diagnosed with a heart condition. And I did not know, but do you know they have heart doctors for animals? Yeah. But to walk into one, you got to pay $800 just for the appointment. Now, at the time, yeah, it was 4 years ago because he was like 14. I was going to have his teeth cleaned, and the doctor noticed that he had a heart irregularity on the beat. And 14 is pretty much up there for a cat. Many cats only make it to be about 18, 20 years old, and that's if they're indoor cats. And I was like, I can't afford to pay $600 just to walk him in, and that's before they charge you for testing. Silk, not my lap. Okay, number 7. And so what I told the veterinarian was this. You know, he's lived 14 years of his life, and he's done very well. And I am not going to put him through all kind of testing. I'm not spending that kind of money. He's had a very good, happy life. He's well taken care of. He's kept indoors. And I believe that he'll live a long and healthy life and free of stress without me taking him to a specialist for his heart. And sure enough, he's lived another 4 years. He's 18 now. In cat years, I'm pretty sure he is 100 or right thereabouts, if not a little bit over being 100 years old. And I am not going to take and put him through that kind of thing. And so I did not. Plus, that's a lot of money. I would have had his teeth cleaned because I've seen cats get jaw infections and all kinds of things from rotted teeth due to not being cleaned, especially when they're about, I want to say between 5 and 7 years, sometimes a little bit older. Just like children, their teeth will rot if they're not cleaned or checked regularly, things like that. And that's what I was going to have done, but nope. So he couldn't have that done because they won't do surgery if they have heart problems because they can pass away. And I'm not going to put him through seeing a heart specialist. Just ain't going to happen. And it isn't because I don't love him and I don't care about him, but I'm very realistic as a human, knowing that he will never have the lifespan of a human. You will never see a cat or a dog live to be 60, 70, 80 years old. It's not going to happen. They're not designed to. And I do my best. Kept him healthy, happy, give him good food. Like, he has trouble eating dry food now, so he gets wet food. Wet food is more expensive. And I take care of him the best of my ability. And to be honest, I probably won't get many animals. Right now, I am down to only 3 cats. One is my one daughter. She lives in a full care facility. She has a seizure disorder. She was born with it. And she is emotionally slow as well as mentally slow. I'm sure I'm not giving it the right label, whether it's she's disabled, whatever. But they don't allow her, the state facilities don't allow animals from them. And she didn't go in until she was 16. She signed herself in. She didn't like following my rules. She said she was going to have a better life there because, you know, she doesn't think like we do. And she's been living there for quite a lot of years now. And she comes and she gets to visit with me for the full day. I would have her overnight if I could, but I have too many health problems. And I just don't have the heart to get rid of her cat, you know. It's not like a shoe that's old and worn or whatever. It's a pet. And so I keep her cat. Her cat lives with me. Then I have my, and she is like 16 years old. So she's not a young cat either. And so I keep my pets until they pass away, and I have no intentions on getting any more. Between the cost of their care and their food and everything, I just can't really, I don't want to put myself through that kind of stress anymore. So, but I care about the ones I have, and I'll take care of them until they move on. And, whoops. So, my pad went dead on me, and so this video will be interrupted, and I will continue it after it's charged. Okay, sorry for the interruption there. And it's good to know that it will run while it is plugged in and under charge as well. But we will see if it will interrupt for whatever reasons. It's hard telling. So I was a little curious about that, and I remember thinking, I wonder if this pad will run while charged in, about like a cell phone. So even if your charge is low on your cell phone, if you plug it in, it will allow you to use your cell phone while it's charging. And so that's what I was curious about with this pad, this light pad. My back lighting that allows me to see the legend better from doing so many crafts during my lifetime. I knew that I was going to have trouble seeing the legend, or I should say the letters and the squares on the painting. I was going to have trouble seeing them if I didn't have backlighting. Plus, I did just a little bit of research. I'm one of those type of people when I do a bit of research and then I'm like, yep, I'm ready to go. And I know I don't know everything, but I'm like this, yep, whatever I don't know, I can learn on the way. That's how I did my eBay store. So my eBay store is all lowercase letters, and it is everything dash under dash the dash sun. And I sell everything under the sun that I get my hands on, and I feel that it may sell. And that's exactly what I did. I did a little bit of research and whatnot, and then I started listing and I learned as I went. And the same goes for the YouTube. As some of you may know or may not know if you haven't looked at any of my older videos, I knew that I wasn't going to be able to do housekeeping work anymore. I was an independent housekeeper. And I charged a fair rate. I wasn't overly expensive, crazy expensive like some places. But I wasn't cheap either, because I'm a little bit of an OCD when it comes to cleaning. And I knew I would do a decent job when I worked. And I did that for about 15 years after raising my 4 children on my own, in which 2 of my children were born handicapped. No fault of mine, no fault of theirs, just kind of happens. And from taking care of my kids so much and the house so well, and always being into physical labor, my body, I have had cartilage give out in my knee, my hips, and my hands. And so, I think that's it of the letter L. And so, I knew I was going to have to leave those professions. Letter K. About 5-6 years ago, I started my eBay store. And it's not huge. And I do make a small amount of income on it. And then I was like, well, I think I need to supplement it if I cannot do housekeeping anymore. And so I started this YouTube channel. And we'll see how it goes. I am not a type of person that's like, oh, well, I better see instant returns or I'm not doing it. I know better than that. Usually in life, you never get instant returns. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. So I'm willing to work and put the time in and try to build a following. And that's why I ask that you subscribe. My channel's not monetized now. Once I get it monetized, I get to advertise my eBay store. And I also have started mounting these canvases. When they're finished, I glue them. So that way the drills will not come off, or at least won't come off without some effort. And I block them in using wood and then stapling the canvas on, then painting the outside legend. You can see where I'm pointing. You can see it on the sides of the canvas, so I paint that so you can't see that. And I plan on selling these on eBay. So that's my story. That's what I'm doing. I'm trying to take and earn money and take care of myself without being a burden to anyone. And that's life. Things change all the time. Nothing is guaranteed. And I've never had the money to really go and pursue a higher education. And now at my age, you know what? I'm tired. My brain's like, that's too much reading. It's just too much. And also another problem that you have as an older person, employers don't want to hire you. You are not at your prime. You're a liability. They don't want to deal with you. Yeah. So I saw a woman who was a really high figure earner. I don't quite remember why she was let go of her job. And she has a YouTube channel. And she could not find a job, even though she had a high education and the experience that goes with it. And she could not get another job. And she started doing, we're going to go to letter P now, like Uber Eats and several different self-employed type jobs. And to earn an income, because suddenly she could not earn an income. Now, I cannot do driving jobs. My hips, I still have to have the other hip replaced. And I don't know if you ever notice it, but when you're driving, you lift your legs a lot. And my knee, which my right knee, and my hips, you will not tolerate that type of exercise to do with jobs of getting in and out of a vehicle, driving constantly. So again, I'm limited on my ability in which I can find a new source of income. But that pretty much can be quite frustrating, and there's only what you can do. Also, I've done a job before that required my vehicle, and I'll tell you, it can be very, very hard to make enough money to make it worth driving your vehicle to bejesus and back. And my vehicle, I was told by my garage in August, just before my knee surgery, that they will not re-inspect it because it has frame rot starting or going on, and they do not feel secure in the knowledge that it'll be safe to drive. So my vehicle will not be drivable. I do not have enough income to buy another vehicle. And I have driven many of junkards. I grew up extremely poor. My brothers worked on vehicles. I've helped my father replace parts in vehicles. I know probably more parts and what they're called and what they do than many people. And vehicles are immensely expensive. Here in the north, they tend to rust out like crazy due to the salt they use on the roads. And I have been known to buy junkards. Now, mind you, I don't work on my own vehicle. They are too hard for me to work on. I've never had the body strength to do it. By the time they need parts replaced, they are so rusted and seized into place that it takes acetylene torches, takes post malls, and a hell of a lot of strength to get them to let go. And then you have to replace them. I respect mechanics. It is a hard job. And it requires a lot of different tools and experiences that I do not have. And I cannot do it. Cannot do it. But it doesn't stop me from buying a junker for between $500 and $1,000 and just having parts replaced when need be. So instead of paying the money in a loan to a bank and in finance fees, I usually pay a mechanic to do it, which they need a job too, so. But I don't know how that's going to happen now. I'm winging it. I need so many surgeries and things, and I'm winging it. I just don't know what else to do when your body falls apart and you have no control over it, or things or tragedies happens and you have no control over it. Basically, you're just trying to do damage control and wing it. So that's just a part of life. And if you feel some sympathy, please subscribe. Help me that way. Watch my channel or the things I post. If it's really not your thing, you can always just let it run while you're doing other things. I tend to sleep. I actually sleep better by watching rug cleaning channels or my own. I'll fall asleep while it's running because it soothes me. Things like that. I missed a 7. Okay, that's the number 1s. So I'm going to hijack a 7 and put it in there. I've already done them. Then we're going to do letter T. So I grew up poor, but my mother was strict about things. And we were told, don't you ever beg. Don't you ever ask for things. It's not your place. So I find it really difficult to ask for help. Lately, I've been going to a food pantry between the cost of groceries and the changes in my life, I find it just a little bit harder to be able to afford even groceries. And I don't use my vehicle a lot. Basically, doctor's appointments is what I'm going to anymore all the time. And then there's the pre-op surgery things. Okay, then we're going to do the number 9. Because they have you running all over to God's creations to be tested for blood work, pre-op exams, and if I gain some control over my body, maybe I can work a few easier housekeeping jobs, in which I do taxes on them. Yes, I do. I turn them in, I submit them. Hijack the letter K and put that in because I had already done them. Now there's only one letter A, so I'm going to hijack an A and put that in. There. Then we have a couple of Y. And if you've watched and listened to this point, I definitely appreciate you doing so. Number 8, we're going to hijack it because there's only one. No, taking that tray out. Then we have the letter J. And I do like how on YouTube, you're paid for just people viewing once you're monetized, and you can put commercials on. And sometimes you get sponsors. And that would be a help. I'm trying to make it where the best I can. It's kind of hard by what my limitations are right now. That's why I'm going through so many surgeries, because I'm just trying to regain some mobility and usefulness. The nice thing about doing the diamond dot is that it is not that hard on the hands. Not like trying to push a vacuum or doing mopping where you're pressurizing a lot on the joint. And when I spoke to the surgeon, he said that I should be able to pretty much just regain and find pain alleviation on the joints of my thumb, which would be great. Even that would be great, is to have the lack of pain. Because, in the winter, my hands will hurt so badly. And he said I'll be able to use the joint pretty much as normal, which would be another bonus. And so doing the diamond dot videos, it doesn't hurt my hands. I will say that, because it's not real demanding. So but as I was saying, that's a bonus. But we'll see how things go. And I really like to regain the ability to stand for hours without suffering greatly from it. I'm lucky if I can stand an hour without my knee. Like, it's just tremendous. It's not fun. I gotta say, I have not been having fun. Not with this body. So I'm near the end. I think I already mentioned enough about subscribing now. But I do want to say I really, really thank all of you for watching my videos. And again, always feel free to subscribe. And the nice thing about subscribing, if you do miss any videos, you can go into your subscriber section and you can bring up your person you're subscribed to and then choose which ones you want to watch. And again, I do appreciate each and every one of you. I missed the letter R. I gotta hijack that and put that in. And until next time, see you then.